Hey, thanks for tuning in to That Husband Podcast with me, Black Newborn. And today's episode, we have the privilege of being joined by Thabang and Mvuyane. Why would he get married at first sight? Already, the pressures of being a husband are hard enough. Why couple all of that with the added pressure of cameras in your face 24/7 trying to figure out what marriage looks like to somebody you've never met before? Secondly, he tells us that he was robbed of this experience where he could not fully be immersed in it. What's that all about? We're going to unpack it. Thirdly, moving away from being the it guy because of his work, being praised, being seen as the man, now having to move to becoming a husband and coming face to face with the secret ingredients that makes a marriage healthy, and that is sacrifice. How does he deal with being humbled? How does he deal with having to kill his ego so that his marriage could actually thrive and succeed? All of this on today's episode. Hey, what's up? Welcome to That Husband Podcast with me, Black Newborn. Here we are husbands who aren't where we want to be, but certainly are not where we used to be. We are imperfect, always failing forward, trying to know better so that we can do better. Hey, what's up? Welcome to That Husband Podcast with me, Black Newborn. This is where husbands try to know better so that we can do better. The husband that's sitting across the table from me is Thabang, a.k.a. Real Dope Boy. Banger. Mr. Married at First Sight himself.
How
you doing, brother? Grand, man. Thanks for pulling through, bro.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man.
Yeah. I'm excited for this one. I didn't tell you.
Okay.
But I was super excited. Yeah. My wife was like, "Hey, I'm like, I'm excited for this one." Yeah, right. And not necessarily because of the content. I mean, it's the first time we meet in person.
Yeah.
But just your personality and how it just shines, man. Yeah. You know, I was like, "Hey, out, you know, it would be dope." Yeah. No, you're winning. I tried. Right? So that's dope, man. Before we jump into it, we are compiling this resource. We want to make a book that's going to be available for free for young guys who are afraid of getting married because they have bad examples or they just don't believe in the institute of marriage anymore. But also for husbands who are walking alone, you know, who don't have a community of brothers that they can walk with, share struggles with, you know. So we want to put names there of husbands who are not superheroes at all, you know. People who sit on these chairs are just husbands, we're not heroes. And the first people who would attest to that are our wives. And so we, just, you know, guys who fail forward, who take accountability, who are responsible. And we ask our guests for two names of guys who either inspired you to want to get married or guys who inspire you to stay married. So just for two names and why those guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the first person that would come into my mind, a guy who inspires me to get married, is definitely my brother, who's Pamandla Ndaba. Looking at how we grew up, raised by our grandparents.
Sure.
My mother had to move out in the Val. And for him to be raised in a manner that he got raised and to be married with the little resources that he had, he had to pull out certain things, be in very uncompromising situations. And still try and make it work with the little that he has is really a person who really inspired me to try marriage.
Yeah. The second person?
Second person would be Mkhulu Joseph Mvuyane.
Shout out.
Mvuyane, umadala. Umadala insizwa yenye ke emzulu. Like I mentioned, sikhule vele endlini yakhe. Sibaningi. There was my mother before she moved out, my aunt, my uncles, even us as the grandkids. With seeing that every day, also picking out the ways ukhulisa abantwana bakhe, nokukhulisa ama grandkids wakhe. Like he also inspired me. And he stays inspiring me to stay in a relationship. Or in the marriage rather.
Sure.
Because they've been married for like 50 years.
No way.
50 years.
Sheesh.
My grandparents have been together since, I'm not
Sheesh.
too sure my calculations, but it's been 50 years or so.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's longer than we've been alive.
100%. 100%.
Shout out, man.
Yeah.
I dig stories like that, especially, from the Black community. So I have the privilege of being in a community where there's multiple races, and I tend to see a lot of people who are married, for long stretch of time who are not Black. And so when I hear stories of Black couples who are married 40, 50, man, like, yo, my heart leaps, bro. Yeah. It's amazing. I know I'm super excited, man, for that stuff. So shout outs to them. Shout outs to them, and we can definitely learn a lot. Is he married to Ukoko Losimbone on the show?
On the show, no.
Okay,
that's my other grandparents.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not Suelo, Mampev.
Right. That's dope, bro. No, thanks for that, man. And shout outs to those guys. And I always say to gents, man, money shouldn't be the hindrance from getting you to get married. Yes, I got married cheap. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
No,
we had an actual wedding, right? We had an actual wedding.
Yeah.
But our wedding was probably 12K.
Okay.
Including my suit, food, and our rings.
Are you serious? How many people were there?
65.
65 people?
Yeah.
So how did you get it to that amount?
So obviously, we which is something I need to pick your brain on.
Okay.
With Dakis. So, the wedding has to be the whole Kaslong.
Valistrad. Abosban lo ufuna ukumgcwalisela
abone
ukuthi namhlanje
So I think what we did was, man, we obviously planning on being this in this thing for long. So then we said, who do we want to celebrate this day with?
Okay.
And the criteria was people that would be in our lives in case one of us dies, right? Okay. My wife dies, who are people who will be at my front door, looking after me, caring for me, or vice versa. And so it was like, man, these are people we're gonna build with, Had fights, because we had to cut people off.
Guest list.
Yeah.
Guest list.
We had to push through that thing, man, and then there's people who are obviously offended. That I had to have real conversations with to be like, it's good that you're offended, because now we can have a real chat about the state of our relationship, but I think it was what it was, very, very budget friendly. Because another thing we thought to ourselves is we don't want to start marriage being broke, or getting in debt. As well as hey, my perfect wedding.
No. Planting up after.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. So that's why we were just like, man, this is important to us. It's a long-term, lifelong decision. And so let's make it now. Let's make it quick. And we were babies when we got married.
How old were you?
Yeah, 25, 24.
Oh, okay, nice.
My wife was 24, I was 25. That's when we got married.
And you've been together for how long?
10 years. Now, 10 years. In marriage, yeah.
No, before you guys got married, how long were you guys together?
1
year. Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I resonate with you.
Sorry. I know you the interviewer in this case.
No. It's a podcast.
So it's a podcast, yes.
It's a conversation,
I have a lot of questions.
Please.
About marriage in itself.
Yes,
so
please
don't mind me if I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to learn about.
Yeah. I always tell guys it's a podcast, man. It's a conversation around the braai, around coffee. So it's a two-way thing, man. Yeah. So we were 20, 25, 24. My wife was 24, 25. Yeah. And man, it was. I wouldn't do it any other way. I think it was just best for us to get married that young, because everything we have and how we are becoming as people, it's bonene,
Yeah.
And we influenced and shaped each other. I always say, like, I would not be half of the things I am if it wasn't for my wife. Like, I think
that's beautiful.
I'd be okay in life.
Yeah.
If she wasn't there.
Yeah.
But
structure, stability. Do you think it would have been there without her?
Stability, no. Okay. Yeah. Structure. Yeah, ngilezi ezithanda ukubeka ne-OCD yabo.
Okay.
So structure
Zobakhona, okay, sharp.
yeah. But stability, man. One thing I'll tell you, I'd be homeless if I didn't have my wife.
Okay.
I'm wasting you.
Babas.
Yeah.
That's a problem I have, man.
And then you wasting him. I mean, again, so chila va. Yeah. I'm panang na mala, ang ngawari maling na yun. Yeah. Don't rent ay patalanga so born.
Yeah.
That's me, right?
Yeah.
I inyunya isapaza bantwini. So my wife is just there to, because she's there, I'm like, man, I need to look after her. I need to look after our daughter. Yeah. We're building something here. So just be a little bit wise and you know, be careful with it. So I think I'd be homeless, man, if I didn't have my wife. But she just makes me amazing in many ways. Yeah. I think I become a better son, better brother, friend. You know, I think I don't even get into doing business if it's not for her. You know, so she's really just been a vital part of my life, and I wouldn't change it. So I wouldn't change it for anything. When I see my wife, I'm like, I wish I was born married.
Yeah,
you know, I wish I came out of the womb olet lati na ring na I wish
also save eziningi.
Yeah.
Tons. But also how I view it, even though you also save eziningi, I always feel like past experiences somehow shape you to be where you currently are.
Yeah.
I mean, some things you had to go through to be where you are moving forward towards, you know.
Yeah.
I'll make an example how I got into the show and he Married at First Sight is the fact that at that point in time I felt like, you know what, I think I'm just done with everything that's just around me. It's literally the same things wire. Go out, you meet this person, you try out things, and even without you don't even try and move forward. You're always accustomed to the same things that are happening around your life. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just try this different avenue and see what you're up. I won't lie.
Yeah.
I was scared. I was scared to the teeth.
If you said you weren't scared, the
one thing about that show, it taught me bravery.
Yeah.
Bravery. I tried and I was like, you know what? I've tried everything, you know what? Let's see what this one has in store for me. And I've seen how arranged marriages worked before.
Yeah.
I've seen how they also don't work, but eventually you learn something out of them. Yeah. So when I got in there, I was like, you know what? Nani ama expert wenu lawa nikezene ke umngamo ngibone ukuthi soyenza kanjani. And that's how I got to that to that decision.
How did you find the show? Like, how did you know about it?
A friend of mine.
Okay.
A friend of mine told me about it. I was like, dude, I can see izinto zakho zingathi zihlangane kancane in that department. So you know what? Just give it a shot.
Yeah.
Just give it a shot and see where this will take you. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
But I have nothing to lose.
Sure.
I mean, currently I'm single. There's nothing happening that's concrete around my life. So hop in. I was like, okay, cool.
It's dope, man.
Let me join it.
It's dope. And if you know, turned around, because when you by the altar and you're waiting for your future wife to come to you, if you turned around and one, she didn't look
like how you described,
like how you expected, and then maybe the second question would be, so after that initial shock, how would you have dealt with you guys didn't go on honeymoon, which is something we need to talk about. But how would you have dealt with having to stay the first, I don't know how many days honeymoon was?
I don't know. And I even told her, I was like, one thing that I'm praying for is she's gorgeous. Because if you're being honest, going on a show like that, we are only primarily focusing on looks. First day. Mochi, is this the person I want to spend the rest of my life with?
Yes.
But then after I saw her, I was amazed.
Yeah.
I was amazed. She was beautiful.
Sure.
And then only the question started ringing in my head. Personality, we've just took the first one. Looks good. Personality, how are you going to do it? How are you going to move forward? Does she know how to handle conflict? Am I going to be able to handle conflict the way that she wants to? So yeah, that's what happened. And then after a lot of questions also rang in my head.
Yeah.
My sister, like on the first night. I was like, yo,
This is it. Yeah.
the dog.
Insane.
Like, yo, I was like, I wonder how we're gonna navigate this.
Sure.
That was one of my concerns.
Yeah,
But yeah, we stuck it out.
Sure.
And thank God that none of us left the show, because you had an option to leave the show. Yeah, at any point in time.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that none of us did.
Yeah. No, that's dope, bro. Maybe walk us through this, because again, you guys are literally having an arranged marriage in front of the whole country. Being married, is tough.
Yeah.
Right? Marriage is beautiful. There's amazing things about it, but it requires work. Expenditure, which you've definitely gotten a taste of that.
Yeah.
So walk us through having to meet somebody new, decide you're getting married to them, but you're doing that with cameras.
I think that was the toughest out of everything.
Okay.
Out of the whole experiment. I think it's generally having cameras around.
Yeah.
We have saying you do your normal life, you go to work, you come back, you're tired. And when you're tired, you need to shoot. You need to shoot your own reality. So you understand what to cartel, and now when you get home, you need to tap into a different energy that you probably don't have, so that you don't come across as if you are constantly tired on camera and all of that. And one of the stumbling things that we had is the fact that my wife had her work schedule was tough. It was tough. Yeah. So that on its own was difficult to navigate through around. And she did mention it to me with Joe. Minama hours wami. And I took it lightly at first. I took it very lightly. I was like, we'll get through this, we'll get through this. Now imagine coming home, she's sleeping.
Sure.
Magalele, she needs to wake up more 2x and Hispanin. By the time I'm at work, if I'm not working from home, come back, there's cameras around.
Yeah.
So there's certain conversations that her and I would have that are off camera. And some of the conversations we needed to have them on camera. And one of the things that happened on camera was legit like how we're still trying to get to know each other. We're still trying to navigate it. So it was very difficult. I won't lie, it was very difficult. But we managed to stack it out.
That thing was tough, bro. Like just seeing it, I think even the first time like we chatted, I was just like, man, like I have empathy, I have sympathy, I have prayers, I have thoughts, I have because I'm like, again, man, being a husband is not a joke. Again, we're not superheroes, and we see a lot of our flaws, especially in marriage, because I'm out. Sometimes I'm not going to be as honest because there's nothing on the line necessarily. But somebody that you're building a life with, like they're going to be as honest as possible.
So imagine those adjustments.
Yeah.
So imagine those adjustments that you're making. You are used to this bachelor life.
Sure.
Where you don't answer to anyone. Yeah. Where to you literally being with someone, living with them every day.
Yeah.
And now, bank statement.
Fair.
Even if you need to be honest with her.
Yeah.
You need to be honest with her.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm not used to that. Exactly. I'm not used to that, but it's things that I had to accustom myself into, which people don't have necessarily an idea with how when you're in a relationship or marriage, there's certain things you need to compromise.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you need to compromise. I always told myself that I think I had an idea what marriage was until I got into the actual marriage itself.
Bro, we can do a whole podcast on that.
Like the things, it is tricky, dude. So I had the impression, I remember the first few weeks we're together, I was very arrogant in the relationship. Simply because I think that's how I was, the type of person I was when I was in a relationship.
Sure.
Obvious. In my past experiences, I'm used to dating like women.
Yes,
not even just baba, like someone who doesn't challenge you, someone who doesn't pick your brain.
Sure.
If you say this is what's on the table, we're going with this.
Yeah, that's it.
They won't question it. They will question it, but they wouldn't.
And then you got a volcano.
And then I got a very stern.
Yeah.
angazi if volcano right, if there's something above that.
The Earth's core, the crust of the Earth.
Volcano is an understatement.
Where all volcanoes come from.
Yo, and then I got that. I was like, yo.
There's words your wife used. Don't make me your skeevy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? When somebody uses English like that, I'm like, yeah.
Ukwatile.
I'm
not on your payroll.
Yeah, I'm not on your payroll. and then what do they call them? Explicitives. I might be butchering this lungu here, but words like never and always.
Yeah.
I always have to mother you.
Mm.
I was like, it's one thing being told that. C2.
Dude.
What's she's in, don't fit?
Joe, all over the floor. I'll clean up. It was tricky. And because how it happened, that, you know what, it's okay.
You know what the funny thing is? Yeah, and that's why I was like, man, I was excited to hang out with you. Bro, you are chilled. Like, even in your complaining, yeah, you know, like, I'm like, your voice is still here.
At that time. But you know what? I think how that fight turned out also.
Yeah.
I told her my reservations about how we shouldn't expose our relationship firstly to the next couple or people around us.
Sure.
So I felt like if I had to shout back, if I had to, you know, tell her the way I wanted to tell her, it wouldn't make anything right. 2 wrongs don't make it right.
Sure.
To me.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be here, shout and everything, I'll take it. But obviously I need to be stern. And in one of the ways I can do that, I don't have to portray it in front of everyone.
Sure.
So that's why we had a conversation afterwards. And one of the rules that we had at first, we don't expose our relationships. I had to bring it back to her.
Sure.
To listen. Even though she still has her own differences in her head, how she got to that. But I was like, dude, we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I understand that you're mad and how I treated you. Number one, I'm wrong, yes. But I think we need to try and sit down and figure out how we can fix that and move forward.
How did she take that conversation?
Obviously, she was still stuck at the fact that, no, you're wrong. Yeah. You didn't have to cheat me like that the previous night.
Sure.
Because she was mad at that. I shouted at her.
Yeah.
And I called her some few words.
Sure.
So I think with her that stung.
Yeah.
And and I told her, I'm like, you know what? I apologize for that.
Sure.
I'm sorry that I had to call you a few words or lash out at you. I think with her, she saw what she did.
Yeah.
And I also took accountability of what I did.
Sure.
So then when we had the conversation, it was quite better. It was quite chilled. And then we found a solution.
Bro, when we watched that, for me, your relationship changed after that big fight. But I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, you know? So it starts off, you know, Banga and Kumo are very friendly.
Playful.
Yeah.
That's the word. That's the word. Very playful.
But for me, man, that's like, again, there's, you guys are meeting each other for the first time, you're getting to know each other. And so sometimes we tend, in moments like that, I believe we kind of bring out parts of our personality that are going to help us navigate the strange,
uncomfortable conversations.
Uncomfortable, turf that we're on. So I was like, okay, that's fine, man. You know, and being married for as long as I've been married, I know that things will eventually change. You guys will find your groove, you know, and rhythm. And so I was looking at it from that perspective. And then after that big fight, I was like, hey, even I, obviously I'm reading, you know, I was like, I don't think you guys are going to make it. You know, because I'm like, that's a major fight, bro. And I sat back knowing my own experience as well. We had a major fight with my wife. 2nd year of marriage, right? So they say a lot of marriages don't make it past 2 years. And we had just hit that 2-year mark, I think. First time we were screaming at each other. Right? So we were like, we were never gonna scream at each other, etc., etc. But I remember this fight. We were in the bedroom. She was on the bed. I was at the door.
Yeah.
Her voice started going up. Ngathana miyahlanya mfethu phela la. Yo, if angeke ngikhuphukise. We 2 years in, so phila kaso.
Yeah.
Nami rasa
Yeah.
you know. And at that point, we're staying at a complex. So I'm like, surely people are gonna hear this thing, right? Yeah. So he raises the thing, I raise it, and we just went at each other, right? And then after that, it's calmed down. I think I said I'm leaving the room or something.
Mm-hmm.
But after we sat down and just took notes, we realized, no, we needed that fight. There's things that we just needed to take out, right? And then we can move forward from this, you know. But in that moment, when we were shouting, I was like,
none of that.
Yeah. I'm fighting for the death, man. Once. Shut, pale. So when I saw you guys fight and how major that thing was, I was like, oh,
You know what? I think one of the things that I realized for our relationship afterwards is that we can go off at each other, but the main issue here is the problem, not us.
Mm-hmm.
So we can go off, you and I can go off, but we need to learn that the issue, we need to be fighting the problem and not each other.
Sure.
Not each other. And she has her emotional intelligence is also high. And I always try to understand also, as much as kunzima now as he out here, back straight and then manje uthulile is your next. It's tough, bro. It's tough to go through that, but I think a bit of maturity inside of me kind of understood the problem is not us, it's the problem itself, the issue that we're facing.
Sure.
So let's not fight each other. And it's tough doing that sometimes, to swallow your own pride.
No, it's tough.
It's very tough as a guy.
Yeah.
It's very tough, especially if you've never had anyone like that in your life before, in a romantic setup. So it was quite tough for me as well.
You guys had premarital counseling before? No. You didn't?
Nothing.
The show didn't offer?
Nothing.
Nada.
Shit. Joe Mangena Wednesday, but you're getting married Saturday. Yeah, getting married Saturday.
Sure. And how long had you been in the process of leading up to the
wedding day?
The wedding day. So because at that point you're just meeting with the experts,
exactly,
chatting to them.
So it was a week.
Yeah.
I remember we had to go through screening processes and had to do medical tests.
Yes.
You had to, what else? Psychometric tests and all of that.
Yeah.
So that took a week of that. Obviously, then after, they offer you a contract to say, okay, these are the terms, these are the conditions.
Sure.
And then maybe I signed it, I think a week before the wedding day. And then they're like, okay, next week we are flying you guys down to Flat. This is it. Your life is about to change now. Now could you see? And that's what happened. Yeah. So it was literally a week.
Yeah.
Week of reading contracts, week of screening, medical tests, no pre-marital counseling or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Sheesh, man. So you didn't even think, because I think for me, where I was sitting, the biggest thing was a clash between an understanding of house roles.
Gender roles.
Yeah. You know, so there's, but even just the management of your household, because I'm again 10 years in, I'm still learning that thing now. Right? It's just parts of me, and I've heard a couple of guys saying at some level, which I agree with, you have to treat it like an organization. You know, so marriage is, a friend of mine describes it as an organism, but also an organization. Organism and organization. I think those are the terms he used. You know, so there's some spontaneity that happens. Things can grow organically, but there's things that we just need to, you know, plan, structure, etc., you know. So I'm like, there's gender roles which I think apply to how we relate in general, but just that house stuff.
The house stuff, dog. The house stuff.
You guys were talking about Kutubano Zopega or complain.
No, you know what? I remember that conversation very well, Black. Like, you know what I said? I didn't want to come with the mentality, Yoguti. you know what, umfazwami, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I even told her, I remember I was like, we're not in the 1930s.
Sure.
You're not going to be my slave. But you're not going to be my slave or anything like that. It's long as sometimes. And I was like, you know what? Let's help each other around.
Yeah.
So I committed myself into doing the dishes.
Yes.
And then she was like, okay, cool. No, me, I'll cook for you.
Sure.
We can do that. It's not a problem. But somehow, some way, I didn't live up to that commitment. You know, we try as out. Sometimes, Joe, you want to do your things. It's katsako. And sometimes it's katsako. You need to understand you're living with someone else also.
Exactly.
Before so pega lapho mele izitshalo lezo zibe clean. So if she's planning to do the dishes at 6, and when she's planning to cook, at 6, and when you planning to do the dishes after Peggy came.
Yeah.
It doesn't work out. It will never work out. And then what does that do now? It creates some sort of an issue.
Sure.
Because now you're hindering her from doing what she's committed herself to do.
Yeah.
Because when a fugenza is cut, so those are kind of the things that I had to learn also in the whole house roles and so on.
Sure.
So you need to do things. Mangabe iplan la namhlanje liga nje.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to be spontaneous at times. It doesn't always go like that. But I had to understand myself, which was so one.
Yeah.
So one. If I'm a takeaway, kubeka the way ngakhona peanut butter leyo yena uzoyibamba
yeah, sure.
So yeah, I had to confirm to that.
No. I always tell gents, man, if you're gonna get married, don't believe the lie. Buy a dishwasher, bro. First thing, dishwashers will save your marriage.
The thing is, we had a dishwasher.
Yeah.
We had a dishwasher. The problem was the taking out of the. We had a dishwasher, and whose keeper was a problem.
But like, I'm starting a fund to buy guys dish. If you subscribe to this channel and you're getting married,
actually, we need a dishwasher now because that was there.
Yeah.
Where you are right now, we need a dishwasher.
That thing will save your marriage, man.
Definitely.
That thing will save your marriage, bro. And no joke, bro. Like for us, dishes, closing cupboards, issue. My wife doesn't close cupboards. I'm the guy who. I'm getting better at washing dishes on time, but I'm fit. Yeah. That thing is tough.
Does your wife also like open doors and then leave them the way they are?
Yeah. I'm a trocho. Nithi nkhona inyoka ezikulandelayo lana.
Awazi
yini sipale.
I think I'm starting to see a pattern like
that. Yeah.
I'm starting to see a pattern like that. So
we'll let them talk among themselves. Mina banokushiya ifethu closet livuliwe.
Cool.
Vuliwe. Closet livuliwe, makhabethe kitchen avuliwe, ma-drawer avuliwe.
Then you share something laphayana aye toilet or aye
ikofi sibale. Khona ama tea bag, ngithi le tea bag le ine family le tea bag le way ihleli ngakhona la sena inesikhathi ishadile nayo le tea bag the way ihleli ngakhona and so I had to get to a point of saying I can either complain about that stuff or I can serve her right and in those moments I'm like, okay, anger is coming up, so it's a moment for me to reflect and think, okay, let me replace that with wanting to love her. Let's close the cupboard as an act of love.
Yeah. Instead of you complaining.
It's gonna be a long marriage. It's not gonna be a fun marriage. It's gonna be long.
Constantly, you guys are gonna be fighting about the same thing.
Yeah. Valley cupboard. I'm like, ish. And she's not.
Let's tell you.
Yeah. I have a 5-year-old. That's the person I need to tell good to Valley cupboard. But my wife is not. And I'm like, hey, Joe. Clearly, this thing is not gonna change.
Yeah.
That's fine. How can I love you? How can I serve you? How can I, be there, even with this one area? And it caveat them fit. There's people with worse issues, right? So I was like, no, that's fine. It's cool. I'll just learn how to love her in those moments, man. But you guys, obviously, the big thing, got married without your families.
Yeah, sure.
About the comments. So the wife we're talking about is in the room, ladies and gentlemen. So if you hear complaints from the side of the room,
say
yeah.
They're already giving me the eyes.
Yeah. So we'll also have a ghost lady. So,
no, I think the issue with the families, I think.
How did you process it before? Because obviously they tell you you're gonna get married at your family.
Yeah. No. So what we had, you're given 3 options.
Okay.
To say, you know what, invite 3 guests to come and support you at the wedding.
Yeah.
Whether it's your mother, it's your brother, your friends, whatever the case may be. But you couldn't tell them what the issue was or how you're getting, if you're getting married or not.
So when you're telling them on screen,
that's the first time they hear about it.
No way.
Yeah. That's the first time they hear about it. No way, so you had to trick them into telling them that, you know what, we in a competition, bafethu. You know, I had to tell them like that. And then I tried it with my mother, but she was like, nah, you're kidding.
Competition.
No, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy. So I was like, okay, cool, you know what? Think you'll have my chance.
Okay.
My chance.
Free
flight, competition.
Yeah.
Pagisha.
Sure.
And then that's how
Sheesh,
they found out that I was getting married.
Wow.
Other than that, nothing. And then when we flew back, I had to tell them my family, which was covered.
Were you scared?
I don't think so, because my mother, Old is very supportive of anything that I do.
Stop.
Yes, like a parent will have their own concerns.
Yeah.
How do you do something like this? Especially of this nature. Abantu besintu. Ushata kanjani nomuntu ongamazi. Lobola number 1. And asimazi nathi. That was a major concern. Uzosifaka kanjani uhlale nomuntu? What if lo muntu yabu serial killer or whatever? And I had to tell her, no, listen, it's not just a random person in the street.
Sure.
There's also psychometric tests that they do, how they do their due diligence as the production now, but in their own.
Yeah.
We both in it for this experiment. So it's not just someone, or whatever the case may be. And they didn't understand that. But
sure.
Eventually my mom was like, you know what, me, I'll support you. Me, I'll support you.
Sure.
I've seen what you've been through. I've seen it all. I was Harry Wonka, and so on. I've seen, if you feel like personally you're ready for this thing, I'll support you, man. I'll support you. That's what happened. That's how I disclosed it to them.
Still, man. And then your wife's mom.
Yeah. Shout out to Mom Kibela.
Shout out, man. Shout out. She reminded me of my mom.
Okay.
But my mom is not as fiery as, you know, because I remember when the scene, your wife, you know, tells them, your mother-in-law is like, hello, Sissy.
Hello.
There were a couple of comments on you know, like blogs and people who cover stuff. So a lot of recurring comments. People are like, and now we understand why Kumo's the way.
Was like that.
Yeah, she's fiery. I was like, right. But I thought that was gonna be. I thought that's gonna break you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
The parents?
Yeah.
Or her mother specifically?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
But your wife is clearly, again, her child. So she's like, I said what I said.
I said what I said. I'm doing it.
Yeah. Because I thought, man, this is probably going to be... I've watched a couple of seasons of Married at First Sight, like States. And obviously, Western culture, totally different when it comes to family. It's easier. Yeah. So I was just like, man, this is going to be intense, right? And sure, there was a level of intensity. And I was like, maybe... I thought she's going to come back and say... Bang, Amfana, we need to put this thing on pause, do things properly. Yeah. And then we'll continue. When she pressed on, I was like, Clearly. Did she tell you why she persevered?
She didn't necessarily tell me, but I've been in situations where she's around or setups like that. She's actually a cool mom. She's more understanding. I believe she's also the same as my mother.
Sure.
If this is the route that my wife decided to take, she's gonna support her,
man.
and she's gonna support the relationship. Even recently now, I think don't have a relationship like that, but I check up on her. Grandi. The other time I wished her happy Women's Day and so on, so on. Like it's a relationship that we're trying to build straight. So, but she's a beautiful, great person. Namang, the first time I met her, I was like, yo, alana ngizodila nabo khuma bayichulana masi. Imagine if ngidila nalo oyi-one ngikhathele samele nginavigate through old lady. Just when I thought I'm getting somewhere here, now I'm that came into my head. But I believe she's very supportive of our relationship and everything. So I'm grateful for that.
It's dope, man. No, it's dope to see all of that, bro. Another thing I'm very curious about when I watch these kind of shows is when you guys are watching this back, you're watching it with us.
Yep.
So you shot
everything, and that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Is that you get anxious every Sunday because you don't know what version of yourself is going to be on screen
and what they chopped out and what they left in. Yeah.
That's the crazy part about it. It's the fact that red flag.
How do you deal with that? So now you guys are watching it together, and you said something. Episode 8, where you are like, "Hey, say party in to some chick, try to, I resisted that thing." When I watched that, I'm like, yes, I wouldn't want my wife to hear me say
all of those things.
Yeah, and you were saying it in the comfort of my chance. And obviously, you know that there's cameras, but like sometimes I'm like, yo, man, we don't think that far. How is she gonna think?
How is she gonna receive it? Yeah. And
what do you do in moments like that?
That was the craziest thing because we actually had a conversation about it, and she was like, "Dude, we call each other out on certain things." No, man. Yeah. And like that table tea. So when you stop, you say you no go here. But I had to tell her, dude, I think it was just a general conversation with the chance.
Sure.
With the chance, and the comfort of being around that much chance. And now, eventually, when you're in that situation, unconsciously, you forget that there's cameras around you. And at the point in time where we shot this, and everything was just like, what?
Fine.
Screw cameras. But when I watch myself and where I am right now, currently, is not the person that I was there.
Sheesh, man.
So I've had to learn a lot of things, especially now with the way this was aired out. When I'm a flop wami, and like just kind of accept with Joe, you're not the same person anymore.
Wow.
Learn your mistakes. First, point out your mistakes, find a solution, and be a better person. And I legit had to change myself.
Sheesh, man.
For Umshato. And I always say to people will always be like, you know what? Marriage shouldn't change you. And I'm like, bro.
Then don't do it.
Bro, marriage will change you.
It will, bro.
And you can't be the same person that you walked in. Even with her, I know for a fact that the women that I'm marrying right now, that are married, it's not going to be the same woman in 5 years' time.
Hundreds.
You constantly have to evolve and change as a person. And the great part of it is that you wake up and choose to be with her each and every day. You learn things together. You learn things individually as a person. So that's the beauty of it. You constantly have to change and evolve. So seeing those type of things, it's kind of triggering at some point, but we have conversations around
I think that's the benefit of actually seeing yourself on screen, man, because at least you have a platform where you can take notes from for yourself. Because most of us live life outside of cameras. And so you say stuff you forget.
We forget.
But when it's replayed, at least then you can say, smack, man, let me take notes. But at the same time, you can see that and think, Agafana.
Yeah.
Did Kumo inspire the change in you even after seeing that? Or were you just like, man, for myself, first and foremost, I need to be a different guy? So I ask because, again, we want to become better husbands and husbands who know, become better, and part of us knowing better. Yes, there is personal motives for why we want to change, but man, our wives are a big part of that.
Part of that.
So how did it play out for you? Seeing myself, I can take notes, I can decide. I get fun at you.
Yeah.
Futsi, I'm on screen, you celebrate Bazongbon, whatever. This is me, right? Or I can change. And am I changing for the sake of one, just so that I can have peace, be a better person myself? How much of it was yourself? How much of it was inspired by Kumo? Yeah.
So I think number one, seeing myself there and how those conversations played out, I had to look at myself and be like, dog, number one, you don't have certain conversations with certain people.
Sure.
If you're married, if you are unomuntu you're trying to build a life with, there's certain conversations you don't have around, and the people that you hang around with, as much as they're your boys,
Sure.
where am I going to get the counseling around it? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's why certain problems, that's why I'm umuntu now is a umuntu that you go to ask or seek about financial solutions. No muntu now impintsha yakho oyazi ukuthi la mangifuna ifan ngiyakulona ngiyobloma. So but to answer your question, I saw it myself that, you know what, I need to change, number one.
Yeah.
And then Kumo bring it out to me was like a stamp ukuthi as in, I didn't like the way you spoke about me. I didn't like the way you spoke about the things that you were going through at the time. So that kind of put the stamp with as in, I need to be mindful of everything that I say. Because you don't know what might trigger the next person.
Sure.
You don't know a reaction. Don't just blurt out things. And that's the biggest take that I got out of it. As in, just be mindful of the next person. You don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're going through. So if you're going to be in this partnership with this person, you're not alone. Think about the next person after. So she kind of ufaki stamp, and after seeing that, I was like, you know what, definitely change for myself, number one, the biggest thing.
Sure.
And change for not for the sake of the marriage, but change to make sure none of these things happen, because you know how it could be a trigger for the next person.
Yeah.
Or your partner.
Yeah. And
so that's what happened.
It's sort of to build the health of your marriage as well, you know. So yeah, man, that's dope, bro. It's insane when people say, again, to your earlier point, marriage is not gonna change you. I'm like, everything in life changes you, Joe. But this especially. Right. So if you're gonna hang out with a group of friends, you're gonna influence each other. You'll change. If you change jobs, the corporate culture of whatever company you find yourself in is gonna influence who you are, you know. And so I'm like, the person you spend most of your life with, you think they're not gonna change you, Joe. Like, and if you're holding on to just being yourself, man, don't do this thing, Joe. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna hurt the next person, you know, because marriage forces you to constantly choose to sacrifice yourself, constantly choose to be loving for your wife. And I see just when I do that how much it benefits my wife, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, when she's sacrificed herself for us, I see just how she changes and it benefits her and how it benefits me. You know? So yeah, man, that's pretty dope, man. Would you say, looking back now, you were ready for marriage when you got married? With everything you've gone through and how the show has played out.
I'd say it's a 50-50 thing, because I understand the pressures that come with marriage sometimes.
Yeah.
And the roles that you need to play as a man in a household, and in a marriage, it doesn't come easy.
Sure.
And I think having a partner also elevate, because we are both new into this thing. We are both still trying to figure out. We are still learning each other each and every day. And then to think, I can't sit here and say, Guti, I'm ready to be, I don't know how to word it or articulate myself, but we're finding ourselves.
Sure.
We're finding ourselves. I mean, you don't learn someone in 2 years or in 3 years, let alone 6 weeks into the marriage. You constantly dealing with different personalities, different feelings throughout the whole journey of it. But I'm trying to learn, and that's the biggest thing. about me. I want to fully learn about the whole marriage experience. What roles you have as a man in the marriage. So I'm failing forward.
As great, bro.
As you put it. So I'm trying to learn. And I'm working towards it every day to be ready.
The reason why I asked you about marriage prep earlier, you sound different.
Really?
You do. You do, man. So I'm like, obviously, knowing that the show happened a year ago, because I've obviously gone through a lot. So we getting introduced to a Thabang that lived a year ago. And so you've gone through stuff, and I think even just comparing those two guys, I'm like, and particularly the husband, not even personality. I think again, man, your personality shines strong, bro. And I'm like, you are the same dude, friendly, welcoming. But if I compare your language on screen and what you're saying now, I'm like,
totally two different people.
Definitely is, bro.
That's why I was like, I think coming to the experiment there, I thought I am going to be myself and akunamuntu ozongichange. Regardless of umgami or and that's not how marriages work.
Sure.
That's not how, for me, in my head, what I've learned, that's not how marriages work.
Yeah, they don't, bro.
You need to confirm yourself sometimes with at least as umuntu. As much as it's uncomfortable and umuntu akfoke, akchike, and things that you're not used to. You kind of have to at least now. So
shucks, man.
I've learned throughout the whole experiment. And what was easier is the fact that there's no cameras around. Now real life is happening. Now I'm dealing with this person straight. No cameras, no pressure. What happened also, that was better. She changed professions. And now we found each other. Now we have more ample time to spend with each other. So now I get to know the real you. Not that best pretend or whatever in the case may be. Now we finding better ways to deal with conflict. So what I was there and how I am right now, two different people. Lapha bangubhenga.
Real dope boy.
Thabang man. Sure.
And I mean, with you're the life of the party, right? It's part of your hustle. Did you come in with that mentality, like, I'm the blood that's flowing in the veins of this party. So I'm the
leader. I'm the leader because I'm used to that. There's
sure.
You make certain decisions and without even being questioned about it. So that's the mentality that I had.
What did it do to your ego?
Black, bro. Like, you understand, pride, your ego. Like, coming from an environment where you are, I don't want to say worshipped, but praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. And I'm also in Lini. That it bruised my ego. I won't lie, dog. And that touched me, dog. And I'm like, and then I had to learn, you're not alone anymore, dog. You're not alone. As you live there, strategy. You live there, strategy. I was my husband. I was my husband. It touched me, dog.
Humbling.
Humbling.
What would be it's probably putting on your spot, but like 5 things about your wife that you were just like, man, these are 5 traits, characteristics that make her the person that you need.
Just to give also a bit of context and, going to the experiment, we all had a chance to create a perfect wife for yourself. You want a big booty. You want a yellow bone. You want a structure like umfazi wakho, ne? Like it's like you're given a clear canvas and paint whatever you want to paint. But sometimes that's what you want, but that's not what you need,
man. Yeah.
In a marriage. And those are one of the things that I realized.
Sure.
Dog, you left that experiment with something that you need, not with what you want. So one of the things that I enjoy about her and which I feel like I need in my life is the fact that she instills discipline.
Sure.
She instills discipline. If uthe wena namhlanje uzenza into ekanje or in a certain date, she'll remind you.
Sure.
And she'll make you hold yourself accountable. You know when someone gives you a rope to hang yourself.
Be a man of your word.
Dog. I think that's one of the things that I had to learn.
Sure.
She's like, no, I see you doing this. Sharp. Here's the rope, hang yourself.
Yeah.
But then now it got into the point she was like, no, dude, the reason why I'm not being hard on you. I want you to understand, Uguti, you affect the next person.
Sure.
It's not just you, bro.
Sure.
It's not just you. So I'd say the way she's so stern, because I like discipline, bro. I like discipline. I won't even lie. Okay, budget 10 rand.
Yeah.
Ne. I leave that place and spend 100 rand.
Sure.
Like, I feel like I needed that stability in my life to say, good, sure. No, show me.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Now you have someone that's kind of not relying on you, but trying to build this thing together. So you can't just live your life like that. The second thing would probably be aware of your surroundings constantly.
Sure.
Whatever that you are doing, also be mindful that it affects your family, your friends. It's not just always about you.
Sure.
She kind of had to instill that in my head. So yeah, that's one of the things. Thirdly, I'd probably say maturity.
Yeah.
Maturity.
Sure.
People deem us as this playful couple. We don't have serious conversations. But she kind of somehow navigated me into having uncomfortable conversations. Uncomfortable things. I'm not a confrontational person, Black. Like, yeah, like, you know, if Joe Nyabonutile is an inking.
Yeah.
Hey, let me try and let me try and deflect, you know?
Yeah.
But constantly, which is something I'm learning till this day, every day, that sometimes you need to have uncomfortable conversations. Yeah. Sure. And she's the one person to be like, dude, if this is all hasil.
Yeah.
And people might see it as a bad thing, but to me, what it does to me is the fact that I can go to her with any conversation.
Sure.
And her maturity and emotional intelligence is going to help us even come out as a better couple. And that's the type of woman that she is.
Yeah.
So that will be the third thing. The fourth thing will be, fourth trait or quality that she has is the fact that we can go anywhere and she can be in charge. I don't have to. She can hold her own.
Yeah.
She can hold her own.
Yeah.
I don't. Yes, in life, people have their own insecurities. I have my own insecurities. But I don't have to worry if she's not in my side.
Sure.
Because essentially, I know I'm an events type of person.
Yeah.
So if I'm hosting something and she's not around or I'm not in her face like that, I know she can hold her own.
Sure.
I know if she is ever any conflict that she might get into or whatever the case may be, she can hold her own.
Stop, man.
So I don't constantly have to move and check and all of that. So that would be the fourth quality. She can handle herself.
Sure.
Fifth one.
I mean, the fact that you got to form Fun score,
like
you're winning, Joe.
Fifth, dog.
You're winning.
Some things I have in my head, but Joe. But fifth one, I think it would be how we can find humor
Yeah.
even in the serious things.
Yeah, man.
Like how she constantly can cheer me up, bro. Like if I'm having a bad day or sad day,
Yeah.
nyazi, mangifika endlini. Like
Yeah.
sometimes uzonokuba dragon, like angihlafune and everything, but
Yeah.
through the midst of that, through the midst of that, like how she generally makes me happy.
Sure, man.
How I know what I'm gonna crack,
Yeah.
like finding joy in that.
Sure.
I think that's also another quality.
Yeah, man. That's dope, bro. That's great, man. So I was saying, man, you got 2.5. You're a hero. Yeah, most guys struggle with 2. They're like, oh, fine.
and I guess I'm still learning other things as
Yeah.
we go on. Still, I might find something else next week, or maybe when we leave here, I don't know.
Sure. Hey, sorry to interrupt your viewing. We'll shortly get back to that episode, but we are compelled. We are forced. We have to. It's a must. We should come up here to thank everybody who's part of our community. That's somebody who has subscribed, you've hit the notification bell, you've engaged with us, you've shared this content with other people. Meaning, if you're not part of this community yet, at least here are your first few steps. Hit the subscription button, the notification bell, so that you're updated on every single episode we drop right here every Wednesday at 11:30. But for those who are regulars, you know what we use this segment for, and that's to preview episodes that are coming up next week. But this week, something has happened. That's momentous. That's big. That's massive. And we have to come up here and pause and say, thank you. You guys have helped us cross over the 10K mark, 10,000 subscribers. It's official. We told you at the beginning, what we're doing here at the Dream Space is inviting you into our dreams as much as we want to be part of your dreams. And one of our dreams is to see South Africa change. And we are doing that with one episode every Wednesday through one husband, through one marriage, one family, and eventually all of that goodness will spill over into society and we'll live in a different South Africa. So thank you for believing in that vision. Thank you so much for supporting it by sharing it with other people. Thank you for engaging us and telling us how this is actually impacting your marriages, your families, your thinking, and you are sharing it with other people around you. We want to thank you so much for that. And I've seen some people say this is the beginning of the road to 100,000, 1 million, City Danko, Yebo. That's exactly what we want to do, right? So thank you, Siyabonga. Another way you can continue help supporting us is by checking out our new show that's officially dropping on the 30th of September. So we are here on a Wednesday. But on Mondays, we are going to be dropping a show called The Dopest Variety Show. There's already snippets on this channel that you can go check. So please go watch those, share it with other people so that we can help the algorithm know that not only on Wednesday, but on Mondays at 11:30, something is also happening here at the Dream Space. So please continue supporting us. Man, we'll be grateful for that. Siyabonga, raleboha. And let's continue, again, changing the country and the world around us, right? So let's get back to that episode. Siyabonga. Thanks.
Like how she generally makes me happy.
Sure, man.
How I know what I'm gonna crack, like finding joy in that.
Sure.
I think that's also another quality.
Yeah, man. That's dope, bro. That's great, man. So I was saying, man, you got 2.5. You're a hero. Yeah, most guys struggle with 2. They're like, oh, fine.
and I guess I'm still learning other things as we go on. Still, I might find something else next week, or maybe when we leave here, I don't know.
Sure. And how was obviously there's the general reception online, but just with your immediate lives. So Awanta Spanini, the extended group of friends, how did they accept you guys? How did they make sense of all of this?
I think that's the biggest problem. How you are portrayed on screen is not how you can be to the next person. I mean, we all experience people differently.
Sure. 100%.
I can be nice to you, mang pumalana, and it becomes something else.
Sure.
So the disadvantage of that is how you are being portrayed on screen, thinking that is your reality. This is how you guys deal with stuff.
Sure.
This is how you guys are every day. Kiki. You don't have serious conversations or whatever the case may be. So what they seeing there obviously kind of has an effect.
Yeah.
If they don't know us, how we are, if they've never experienced us together.
Sure.
So that is a disadvantage of it, and how people have commented on how we structure our relationship. It hasn't been roses and daisies. There's those people that see you go to Alaba, they just need structures around them to help them be the great couple that they can be, their potential. They have a great potential to be together. And all that we've learned is that we have each other.
Sure.
And that's the most important thing.
Stop, man.
So what we are doing, Mina Naya, we know what we are doing. And the external people, they can have comments, they can have opinions. I mean, everyone has their own right to opinion, but somehow we need to navigate and we know what we want for ourselves.
Stop, bro.
And that's the main thing that we had to instill in our relationship because social media.
Hey, bros, our streets are loud.
Social media, bro. And it's just that as gents, I'll speak for myself. I know as a guy, some things don't get to me at all.
Sure.
Yes, I'm human.
Sure.
You have feelings. Some things don't get to me. So if you're gonna call me a boy, you wanna call me a red flag, you wanna call me a dog. To me, I know who I am. I know who I am. If people say mean shit about me, that's cool, bro. Whatever. But with women in general, it's a different story.
Sure.
It's a different story. I know that she's had it tough. She's had it tough throughout the whole experiment until she got to the fact that Uti, you know what? Abanglisi labantu laba at the end of the day, dog. So your opinion about me, like it doesn't pay anything. It doesn't change my life in any way.
Sure.
So you know what? I'm done entertaining all of these. But I know there's days where she wakes up, she's like, "Sanonke, 100." Today I have time. Let me deal with them one by one. And I'm like, sometimes, you know what? It's not worth the energy sometimes.
Sure.
Just calm down a bit. Thabang and the type of person that she is, fear no one. Fear no one. Very ufumbalana. And I was like, it's not worth it.
I mean, living in the culture we're in now, you know, with mental health, etc., and obviously the pressure and noise that comes from social media that influences that. As the out, and how have you protected her? You know, behind closed doors.
You
know, so you just alluded to it now. But what are some ways that you've kind of helped her manage that, or even protect her better from social media?
So that's the nature with this. The problem is you can't really disclose a lot of things.
Sure.
In terms of my NTA. So if I go on and tweet something on top of Lenta Pali, it's going to seem like, no, these people are still together. So the nature of it is the fact that you can't publicly do it.
Sure.
But if we are somewhere in a sitting,
sure,
I'd definitely do that. It's different.
Sure.
Sure. It goes with the fact that someone would say, they're no longer together, keep it ring. And sometimes I wish, like, if only you knew this person is sitting next to me and you guys are accusing her of doing things. Like, I can't. That's it's I'm restricted in a way. I'm restricted, and sometimes I think now things are different. Now, if someone calls my woman, hey, you're rude, you're delela, you don't have the capabilities of being a wife, I'd definitely defend her. Publicly. No stress. So I think I was restricted in a way, but I've tried. And I think, I don't know. I don't know if your women had a problem because you're also a public figure. I believe.
So
and how she navigated around that. She's a singer.
She is.
Okay.
She is,
And then she's never had to deal with.
She has, but it hasn't been like crazy stuff, you know. So there's obvious trolls and things. You know, where it's just like, this guy's a troll. Maybe you know, his life is miserable, and you can see that he's just trying to pick on people. So at that point, you're just like, I saw him and whatever. Right?
Sure.
I think for us, it's been around just the success of our career, for us at a personal level.
Okay.
So regardless of what people say, but because we've kind of lived our lives online for most of our marriage, it's then when we don't achieve the goals that we set out to achieve, and then we still have to kind of show up online as though things are,
Yeah.
that's hard, bro.
That's hard.
That is hard. And I
That's
think
hard.
it hit us the most in 2020. So we had both been doing music full time for 10 years at that point. And then, COVID hit, the country shut down. You can't go perform, which was a majority of our income. But we just had other dreams for our careers and where we wanted to be, set goals. Okay, in 5 years, we want to be there. 10 years, we want to be there. You get to 10 years, you're doing stuff, but you're not really where you wanted to be,
Yeah.
And then, so that hit us quite hard, man. Then Fro, got diagnosed with depression. And that was tough. That was rough. I actually went off social, like deleted all my accounts. So I didn't even, people get off and then they just leave their accounts. I deleted them, bro.
Everything, deactivate everything.
Not even deactivate, delete.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Facebook gave you 14, was it? No.
It's 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah. If
I didn't
you don't,
know. I didn't know that they give you 30 days. The first time I found out that you get 30 was, 4 years ago when I deleted my Facebook. And they're like, well, in 30 days, if you haven't, in 30 days, they send you a notification. Have you changed your mind? I'm like, no.
Nothing. Out.
Yeah. Deleted Instagram, deleted everything, went off. And then I was like, that's going to be me for the rest of my life. I'm not going to have a public persona. And then things changed, actually went back last year.
Really?
Yeah. Went back on social media last year, man. But I think another thing is I went back, and even for us as a couple, knowing how to distinguish those two worlds, So before, it kind of bleeds into each other, man,
Yeah.
So I meet Thabang, I'm like, hey, dog, nice guy. And then I'm thinking, how is this going to be content? And then I rob us of just connecting. Fine. Then I'm like, everything you say, how am I going to turn this into a tweet? And then I'm like, I'm just robbing us. So then I was like, I'm done, Joe. But I think over time with growth, we've just been managed to separate those worlds. And I'm like, okay, I know what my online personality is, what my real life personality
That's
is.
tricky for me because, when
your real life is your life.
You know what we fight about, né? Sometimes. I know the type of person that she is, né?
Yes.
And she can troll and post things.
Yeah.
On WhatsApp statuses or whatever, social media. But those statuses or whatever people would probably think, no, this person, umuntu ngathi umfazi or whatever, the things that she posts about, whatever. And to her, it's literally just trolls.
Yeah.
Like she's just joking around.
Yeah.
And so how do you navigate around such things, such instances? Lana, there's no need for you to comment on certain things publicly.
Sure.
Because people can literally misconstrue that and turn it around.
Yeah.
So I find it difficult.
Yeah.
And to me, or how it's portrayed, is the fact that I am trying to change her into being this person that she's. I'm trying to restrict or contain her.
Yeah.
Like now she can't tweet about sex, for example. She
Yeah.
can't tweet about sugar daddies. She can't have an opinion around that. To her, that's how it sounds like. And how do I articulate that properly? And be like, no, this is not the case.
Yeah.
I'm just not trying to open a can of worms. So that people, because social media, bro, like people can take one thing and just turn it around. And make it what it's not.
Yeah. I find conversations, man, so I always say that marriage is, if I would give a definition of marriage, it's communication constantly between two people. If we're not talking constantly, then I think it just, our marriage is slowly dying, and we've actually had that conversation with my wife around stuff that she would post, etc., etc. And it was an ongoing conversation. But the thing I realize is I need to constantly tell her what my heart is behind
instead of boiling things.
Or even talking about posting.
Yeah.
So it's fine. The posting is the presenting issue. What's behind the issue, So I want to protect you. I want to love you. I think, this might not be a good look for you.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about the posting.
Yeah.
But here's my heart behind why, and trying to walk her through that. Because another thing, which again works beautifully with how you guys, got together, is we get to see you guys and your places and families of origin real time. But once you get married, that's you're doing catch up.
Yeah.
Right. And so I had to remember, by the time I married my wife, yes, I've known her as a friend, but not as a wife. So she's 24. I have 24 years to catch up. And so she has 25 years to catch up. And part of how she's going to catch up, I need to help her catch up. She needs to help me catch up, And so I need to explain to her what are some of the pain points. How is my heart shaped? What shaped that, So earlier on off camera, we were talking about my dad being absent.
Yeah.
Part of my fears comes from that broken relationship. Part of the things I have concerns with is, as a firstborn son, now feeling the pressure to look after my mom, and not financially, but just a sense of protection. I have 2 little sisters. How do I, So then I'm constantly, as a guy, thinking, how do I protect women in my life? And I grew up with mainly women, Umamkulu, my cousins, majority of them are female, So by the time I'm talking about a tweet, I need to tell my wife, I'm not just talking about a tweet. I'm talking about 25 years of living with women I love and care for. And that's what I'm bringing on the table. And it's only at that point she's like, oh, smack. Like you said it earlier on. That's the tweet is the issue. But what's behind? I'm not fighting you. Here's my heart, right? And here's what I think. In fact, I don't know, my wife will correct me, but I think part of how she does social media, and for both of us now, is influenced by those conversations. So, on Instagram, you can have private, let's say, stories.
Yeah, close friends,
right? And obviously on WhatsApp, you can block people.
Yeah.
So she's kind of gone into those things,
okay.
And I think just even for her, because she just realized the stuff is not good for my mind if I'm just going to constantly expose myself to people. Right? Like, I don't know who you are, what makes you tick, and you just coming at me. Like, my mental health is far more important than me just giving you my brain, or even engaging you rather at this moment. So I think all of that, man, has really helped. And man, slowing down conversations, because what tends to happen in marriage is you start talking and then you guys miss each other and then you start talking about talking.
Yeah.
Utin, blah, 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 and it's like, okay, we've missed the point now. We stopped
You're not
talking
fighting
about
the
this
problem.
thing.
What I said earlier, we're not fighting the issue. You're fighting each other.
Yes, that's so now we scratching each other. So I'm like, just slowing down the thing and constantly having to say, okay, you saying ABC, this is what I'm hearing you say. Okay. Am I right? No, you're right. B is actually not B. B was D. Okay, say it again. Okay, so here's how I'm understanding the thing. Okay, cool. If I understand it, here's where I'm at. This is my conclusion then, based on what you said, and then vice versa, But it's, again, constant communication, man, and slowing things down.
And choosing your words correctly.
Bro.
If you're feeling some type of, this is one of the things that we had, you need to be mindful of what you say. And you need to constantly use your feelings. Like, if you're feeling some type of way, you must say, this is how I feel about it.
Yes.
Like, this is how I feel about it. And I'm not making a decision based on what I think is correct.
Yes.
Number one, it's what I'm feeling like. Yes. And these are the things that we needed to change, like in our vocab. Hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Say it within me nang feeling anje.
Sure.
It's all about 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped me in a way, instead of try and make it seem like whatever I say goes, or you don't hold yourself accountable.
Still, man.
Yeah.
It's great, brother. Couple of things, man. Like, so one, obviously, but we'll get to that. There was one constant theme or narrative in the story, about your sex life. Intimacy.
Yeah.
You guys chose very early not to be open about that.
Yeah.
What influenced that choice? Because again, it's reality TV.
It's reality TV.
You need ratings, you need drama, and people tend to capitalize on that. And whether some people speak about their sex life just because they're free, or they talk about it because there's cameras, this is going to be spicy. I don't take that very lightly, knowing just how much sex is a gift and the glue it is in marriage. I was chatting to a friend. When was it? I forgot. Or I was chatting to somebody. But we were talking about sex, and how quickly people just run to that in the dating phase, etc., etc. And so I said to them, sometimes people tend to think that sex will fix things, between people, or it will help us build a foundation. And I'm like, I don't think sex does that. I think sex magnifies what's already there. So if you guys have nothing, I mean, it's going to be fun. Sex is fun.
Yeah.
But it's not going to do what it was intended to do, right? So if there's
if you have issues, it's not going to solve it.
It's not going to solve the issue.
The issue's still there.
Yeah. It's supposed to glue you guys, and meaning that you guys have done work to start the gluing. If you guys are loving each other, the 10% love in your marriage, I think sex will magnify it to like 20.
Yeah.
Or it will even help you see what makes the 10% so beautiful. If there's nothing, yeah, man, you guys had a good session. That's all it was. Right? So I come with that in mind, that when I was looking at you guys, I'm like, I wonder what's informing the decision, man. Is it because again, your wife is spicy, So all of her responses when they ask about sex, it's just like, Ntandinda, right?
Yeah.
But there was a sense in which it looked like you guys were guarding that part of your marriage. What informed that, man?
I think number one, what people don't realize, that even though you're in a reality show, there's certain things that certain people don't feel like sharing because of how it come across, or how you're raised rather, how it come across to the next person. I know for a fact that she had a problem with disclosing her sex life. Because she generally, as a person, she doesn't discuss it with anyone. Be it friends, be it family, or whatever the case may be. So now imagine in a setup where you are with strangers, people you don't know, the other wives. She's not gonna find it comfortable anymore with akuluming a sex life, like whatever the case may be. I was fine with it. I was fine with it until she actually put me through into her head her reasoning of not wanting to disclose any of that, because at the end of the day, sasa ne time elibhekelele le show le, sasa ne olele elibhekelele le show le, sasa nomndeni ugogo wasekhaya le nobheke le show le, yabona anye ngizodisclose ukuthi izola bengumphosela phezulu bengenza kanjani, that type of thing. But what I can say is, I don't think, if you saw how when we first met each other, you could tell how we are physically attracted to each other, number one. And us choosing not to open that pathway or bringing people into that life, I think it was a conscious decision. Also driven with the fact that and be mindful that there's other people that are watching the show, bro. And you're not trying to get anyone into that life, that setup of your life, or into you, and which people have a problem because they're like, you came into a reality show, why are you not trying to let us in? But I think at the end of the day, everyone has their own decision. Everyone has their own way of putting out things. The same way also when she asked the other people, the cast members, how they feel about sex, they had a chance also not to disclose anything. Doesn't mean if I'm doing it, I need to do it also. But so how it was driven around that, why we were not disclosing that, I think I had to understand her sentiments as a woman also, because I mean, he has a chance. But also I needed to learn that with Acho. Nah.
That's great, man.
You need to respect someone else's wishes because you are one at the end of the day.
As this is broadcast broadcasting. The show is over.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have had your decision day,
Mm-hmm.
reunion, Tontoni. Can you walk us through maybe just like, very big beats of what you were thinking? So you get married, you see her, lovely.
Yeah.
Ki nyavaya mfana, no honeymoon. Right? And then that storyline constantly comes out. She's not there for whatever shoot. She's at work. But the fight, it's internet, man. There was a thing.
But
Katapus.
There's so many narratives.
I'm like, beniphuza naye bafethu. Like nimthenge utshwala nimpayele nambona nathi ekhumunayo nayo inyumba upha utshwala. I'm like, anyway, but that's there. So one, you married, amazing. She honeymoon, she's gone, and then that storyline keeps on playing with Tageko. And then you have your big fight.
Yeah.
And then from where I was sitting, I thought, this thing has changed.
Yeah.
What's going on in your mind, bro? You have decision day coming. Do you at any point think, I'm jumping ship? Or no, we're gonna see what happens. Right? Like, can you walk us through, like just some high beats before you get to reunion?
Yeah. So, there were a lot of moments where I felt like I was robbed of this experience, like constantly with the whole work schedule thing. Like that is the biggest stumbling block that we had, bro. And there's a point where we're in the experiment where I think it was 4 weeks, and then we had to separate.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And then when we separated, luckily, no, am I lying? There was a point where we stopped shooting, right? And then, yes, we stopped shooting, and then we just lived. And she was on leave, like 2 weeks. There was no cameras, there was nothing.
Sheesh.
It was, huh? It was after the 6 weeks.
Sheesh.
And then there was no cameras, there was nothing.
Sheesh.
And then it was just us, her and I. Yeah. And I was like, yo, you know what?
Yeah.
I may have been robbed, but the person that I'm experiencing right now, where there's no work, there's no cameras, people around, and it's just her and I, is a person that I think I see a potential here.
Stop, man.
In what we're trying to do. How the show ended, it's a different story. Or how I got to that decision day. Oh, bro.
What in the 2 weeks that you guys hung, did you express what you just said? Because that's such a particular choice of words. I was robbed.
Yeah.
Right? Which says to me, I came in with all I am, and you just didn't show up.
Yeah, because I felt like, and she even knows it. I felt like we weren't fully immersible in the experience, and she was kind of holding back because we used to see bits and pieces of each other, and not experiencing each other to the fullest potential. So I wanted to do this, and that arrogance in me literally was like, you know what? I'm also trying, bro. Like, just see me. See me that I'm trying also from my side. Understand you're experiencing bits and pieces, and now you wanna watch a favorite movie, you wanna do this everything all at the same time. So that's why I felt like I was kind of robbed, in a way, and also with the efforts that I think I was putting in were not seen. You understand? So that's why I felt like I was robbed, and how I got to the decision. So in the show, we break up. So she recommits, I don't recommit.
Sheesh.
Which was a tricky thing. Yeah, that one. That one was tricky.
I'm shocked because I haven't watched it. Because you came in and asked if I've seen. I haven't seen this week's episode.
Tricky.
Because I heard somewhere that the couple sat and you either recited your vows or you looked at your vows again or something like that, and then you were alone when that happened.
No. I think, I don't know what happened with this previous one, but what I remember when I was alone, we were reading the eviction note
Yes.
Eviction note. You've come to the end of the experiment. You guys need to live separately and then come back for decision day.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what happened. And then come decision day. A week before decision day.
So when you get the eviction notes, are you like, Avele, Pelilela?
Not that. I'm like, I'm not going to wait for her to read this.
Yeah.
Because constantly when we have to do things, I get
sure.
That's why I was like, you know what? Let me read it by myself.
Yeah.
It's no problem.
So I'm saying after you read it, is it at that point where you say, I've made my decision, I'm not going to recommit?
No.
Okay.
So afterwards, we living separately and then come back after.
Yes.
So that unga influence decision on Munyo.
Sure.
And then do that.
Yeah. What I'm asking is, had you made up your mind at that point?
I was very tentative.
Okay.
I was very tentative.
50-50.
50-50, dog. 50-50. I'm not sure. So, which comes back to how I am as a person is that I had my own insecurities. And based on how my previous relationships worked out.
Sure.
So when we first started the experiment between her and I asked her, dude, is there anyone that you're currently with in your life? Nabantu hlekisana nabo, whatever the case may be. Are we doing this thing for real? And then she said, good to know, there's a guy that was in my life.
Sure.
Siyegile. And I just haven't cut that cord. And my words were like, dude, please fix that. All right.
Sure.
Try and resolve that, please, because we don't want anything coming in, bleeding into what we're trying to do.
Sure.
You don't know each other. Let's start off on your clean slate.
Sure.
You don't know each other. I also had my own people that I won't lie.
Sure.
So, fairly started on clean slate. So, days leading up to the decision day, something told me, just go through a phone and see is this person coming up or not, or whatever the case may be. Joe. Bro. Dog.
First of all, une password.
Password. So, and I'm like, I'm about to take a huge step into my life, bro. So I can't, and I'm tentative at the time.
Sure.
So I'm trying to get myself into a place where I'm now 100% sure. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to recommit. I go through the phone, my man. There's a ghost account in that phone.
Kumo,
There's a ghost account in that phone.
Yes.
In that ghost account, there's conversations between her and that gent. So there were conversations, Oguti. I'm trying to remember here the words. So basically, I'm just going to paraphrase everything. Basically, what she was doing, she was also uncertain of me. And what she was doing was trying to build a net in case this thing doesn't work out between me and I. And those are the messages that I saw.
Shucks.
And that broke me down, bro.
Shucks.
And what normally happens when I break down, I become angry. And whatever else that is happening around me, I'm not going to hear it. Because in those moments, I was like, here I am trying to do this thing. But clearly it didn't work out.
Sure.
And you are trying to start a life and not closing that cord. And you still have me here. You're keeping me around, Jay. You don't know what you want also. And then that's how I got to the decision. Come decision day. And I was like, nah, I'm not continuing. I am leaving this thing. I don't think you are fully immersible in this experiment. And I saw the messages that you and your ex were exchanging.
Yeah,
I said that. I said that in the recommitment ceremony. And afterwards, I was like, and that was the first time I spoke about it. And then after I spoke about it and confronted her, I felt, you know what? Sharp. And then literally, and then she gave me a reasons, and she gave me a reason why she did that. While she didn't fully cut the cord. She also was uncertain about me.
Sure.
Now
you told my cost account, in fact.
Nothing. So she had her own reasons, which were fair. She was like, bro, I used to ask you, do you have a vision for us after here?
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure about it. She'd ask me, when am I meeting your family? I wasn't sure about that. So to her, it comes across as, bro, ngata wasn't out of me.
Sure.
So
sure.
Why am I also trying to invest myself in this whole thing if you are not in it? So let me try and gather whatever I can still gather from that whole setup from the side. There's a nobody. And I think it's a nobody. It's swag. And I'm like, really?
I've been killing my ego. I've been killing my ego,
dog. I'm like,
I'm banging,
dog. That's what pissed me off the most. And I'm like, nah, man, this brew ain't got it, man. This brew, nah, man. So I'm like,
umbilical cord. If I get some land,
he's nothing. He's nothing.
Sheesh,
I think we got into the point where her and I reassured each other.
Good, man.
There's no external forces or whatever. We had a point right now. But bear in mind, that was 6 weeks of getting to know each other.
Sure.
So certain reassurances.
It's just over a month. That's like, nothing, Spale.
I can say some things to you, you probably wouldn't even believe it because you don't know me as a person.
Sure.
And so afterwards that happened. Literally the next day, we spent, I think, about a week of us speaking, breaking ourselves down. You know what? I think before we get to the marriage thing, us jolly. Us jolly and experience each other. Get to know each other. This is what you like, this is what I don't like. You need to be vulnerable with each other, number one. Communicate better, number two. And that's what happened, literally. And then when we started, and also marriage in itself, it's pressure. Bro, it's pressure.
Yeah.
Now things change. Now, good to know, we are married, Joe. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't, that's a bad thing. And then we took
Sorry to cut you off. Did you, because you said that now, because I was thinking, why didn't you just leave? Why did you say, let's work it out? Did you do that because you were like, I always say there's an invincible wall that you cross when you get married. We feel it. I can't tell you when I crossed that wall, So even when I got married, I don't know if it's when she walked down, when I said I do, or when we went to but I knew at some point there's a thing I crossed. I stopped being a boyfriend. And I became a husband. Did you feel that, Guti, I'm going through my woman's phone, or am I going through my wife's phone? Right? And when I chose to continue, Guti, was it because you felt, Guti, I'm your husband, or what did you feel? Because I'm like, logic says, it was only 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's only 6 weeks. Like,
you had a nice time,
it was
back flyer.
Sasploma mahotela vaya cho.
Bana bukhwela mashi ngibonile jo. Wakhwela mashi jo. Nathi benchilile jo.
Splomile kamnandi.
Grand isiqedile, this was nice. Ngokubonile. Ghost account angafuni. Why did you continue, man?
So that's the thing. What boiled down to was the fact that why I came on this experiment. I am trying to find myself stability. I'm trying to be this man that I haven't been before. I've constantly been around people that take that for granted. Number one, if bengiyeke kanjalo, I wasn't going to be happy. That means it's back to the to that thing,
to
panga,
real
to
dope
the dirty dating pool,
sure.
And I was like, nah, bro, I ain't trying to have that for myself.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to have that. So we started off on a wrong foot, but there's a lot of potential here, bro. And there's a lot of things that I felt that I didn't feel being with someone for 2 years. In Gule 6 weeks later. The things that she used to help me navigate through. Like that's what it came to. And I had a couple of family members or friends that I spoke to, and obviously, in their peak or whatever, they were like, "Yega, pumada, pumada." And then I kind of switched, and I asked one of my married friends. I was like, "Dog, this is what happened. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What do you think?" Or I can tell you how I feel, but in your shoes, how do you navigate around that? And it is literally, dog, is like, if you're trying to stay married or you're trying to build this whole relationship, bro, there's certain things or ozomele uzixolele nawe yourself before uxolelela yena. Nezinto ezibhayimele uzixolele self. And they always say ukuthi, there's this thing on social media about if a woman cheats, niggas always accept that, but they will forgive the woman, but as long as the friends don't find out, that's when they forgive the next person.
Yeah, sure.
If the friends don't find out, James always forgive them. So to me, those conversations came up in my head, and I was like, and my friend was like, "Dog, bro. Also, now you need to hold yourself accountable. We're not justifying what she did, but now it's bag herself in mirroring. The girl, you didn't give her anything to work with." That's what he said when I came up with those conversations. He was like, dude, you need to be intentional. You need to be intentional if you're going to do marriage, if you're going to start your life as soulmates. You need to be intentional with everything that you do. There's no one ofuna umuntu ongekho sure about anything.
Yep. Especially not women, man.
Especially not women. You need to be sure what you're doing.
Yep.
Because what you're then going to do, they're not going to feel some sort of security.
Yeah.
They're not going to feel anything like that. So be very mindful of those things.
Yeah.
And if this is what you really want and you're done with that old life of yours, try it out, bro. Put yourself in a position where you can be mature enough to understand certain situations. And to me, that's how I got to that decision. I was like, you know what, bro? It's not my flop now. I'm angry at the fact that you're still trying to pull the life out of me and because you're unsure. But you know what? I'm willing to overlook that. And because what I see for you and I in the future, bro, we just need certain structures, certain, fundamentals where they can help us be what we can potentially be. Yeah. I know sometimes you don't get to marry a potential. You don't go into marriage because you have the potential. You don't do that.
Sure.
But with how we started out, I saw the good in it. And that's what I'm trying to do. So take the gloves off, be vulnerable. And the stories that we share with each other are quite similar. We are similar people because we've also been hurt before.
Sure.
So it's kind of hard going to this experiment, muntu wako, and like open yourself up.
Yeah,
it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time to people that you've had around for 2 years.
Sure.
Imagine 6 weeks.
Fun.
To open yourself, your guard, put your guard down. It's hard.
It's hard, bro.
It's hard, bro. So we kind of got into that point, Ogoti, we need to be vulnerable with each other. We need to communicate better. Yes, we've been broken before.
Yeah.
But this is a chance. This is a beautiful thing that we're trying to do.
Still, man.
We both don't have kids.
Yeah.
We've never been married before.
That helps. Because kids will complicate things, man.
Doug, We and when I see, especially the cast members, when I see the other couples, and I'm like, we actually might have it easy in a way,
Sure.
you know, and we can learn from other people also. Inkinga zethu, I think they might be minor, and we can try and take them and just solve them and move forward.
Sure.
And when I made that decision, she came forth and she was like, you know what, let's try it. I'm not happy with the way you embarrassed me.
I'm fine.
Like it became
because that's what I was gonna ask now. When you said I'm grand, it was in front of everyone,
and that's the one thing I regret.
Okay.
Because I could have literally said, listen, bro, this is what I saw on your phone. This is what I could have brought it up to her. But to me, fine. No, but that's a squinch in a way. Like that's a squinch to me. I was hurt, bro.
Yeah, man.
I was hurt. Like I was broken, bro. And I was like, no, I'm not a crier.
He expresses it
I express it different.
Remember what you asked me earlier on? What did I expect from my conversation with my dad? I'm like, I didn't expect to.
I'm not a crier. Yeah. So if something like that happens, bro, I resort to, I see red.
Sure.
I see red. I don't want to hear anything else around me.
Yeah.
You can give me the advice and I don't. I see it the way I call.
Yeah.
And that's how I got to that decision.
Sheesh,
I'm going to bring it up there.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it up there, which I totally regret.
Yeah. Fair.
Had I known the things that
the
other friend of mine told me afterwards, ukuthi ezinye izinto kuzomela ukhulume nomuntu wakho kuqala before you make decisions. Could have done that.
Sure.
But it was just rage at that point in time. But now, whenever I'm feeling that way, I can bring myself to myself and be like, no, dude, just take a moment, breathe. Yeah. Try and think of any alternatives. Before I do something, is there another way of doing this? Is there a better way of doing this? What would she do? How would you feel if she did that to you? You know? So it's those things how I got myself now in this position. Yeah, dog.
I'm
learning every day, bro. I'm learning.
That's dope, man. And so from the time you called it off to now reconciling, how was that? And how has it been since you guys got back together?
So and when we were doing the reunion, I looked at myself on those screens and I was like, mixed emotions because how we were back then, bro, is not where we are right now,
bro. And here's the thing, we don't see that.
That's the thing.
We don't see that. And here's the crazy thing. I've worked on reality shows behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I know some of the things that go on, but when I'm sitting this side of the screen, I'm fine. All that experience and education goes out, Joe.
Fine. out of the window, bro.
And you experiencing a totally different reality from us, bro. Jacks, man.
Bro, that was tough. So I was like, mixed emotions. Yeah. And where we are right now we've reconciled, we're trying this thing. I'm happy. I'm happy where we are at and how we are still trying to figure out certain things. And doing it with my partner is amazing, Joe. Is amazing. Figuring out things, first place, first apartment, first things, isn't this in Jalo? That's what we're trying to build for ourselves.
Still,
and having it to go through with a person who's born in the coming years is actually amazing every day, dog. I won't lie.
So you guys have known each other now, been together on and off
11 months.
11 months. Sheesh, man. It's great.
This weekend is actually a year.
That's dope, bro.
It's actually a year.
Yeah.
It's actually a year. So it's been amazing, dog.
So are you guys married still? I see the ring. I saw the ring.
No, so obviously, traditionally, I don't think we are not married traditionally.
Okay.
There are plans, obviously, to go through that.
Yes.
Personally, there's just certain things that I need to figure out. Like I said to you, it's only been recently I started speaking to my dad.
Sure.
After 11 years.
11 years, bro.
So I believe if I have to take that route, he has a footing into izinto kanjani. Kuzomela kube ne-time esayidini lakho for me personally. Because there's also other things that are happening with that other side.
Sure.
So I'm not gonna continue into that pathway without having the knowledge of how things are done. Number one, in terms of manshata, my families and stuff, which is what we trying to do also. And plans are there. Plans are there. And right now we are moving forward with how we're gonna do it. And so on. But also another perspective is umshado Joe. If you are in presence of a pastor or whatever manshata ceremony, no man ngasayinwanga noma kusayiniwe, whatever the case may be, you are married. Umshado, and that's how we are moving.
Sure.
Yeah.
That thing holds a lot of people back, man. But Simzansi.
It's tricky. As a black man, sometimes it can be disheartening, bro. It can be disheartening. I won't lie. And I think I was thinking, I was doing a self introspection some other time, and I was like, sometimes, Joe, the pressures of families,
sure.
It can it get to more, Joe. I won't even lie, and the pressures of those can literally be like, actually, no, I'm not trying to call this. Honestly, psychologically, it kind of hurts you a bit. But I guess and sometimes I don't want to do something. That's the type of person I am. I don't like doing something that I am not sure of, and don't have enough knowledge on it. That's why we are currently learning. That's why I had to go through to my dad's side and try and figure out family tree as this how things are done. There's just a lot. So, but failing forward.
No. But I'll keep you in thoughts, bro. As I have, definitely pray for you guys for that thing, man. Because once you building a family, I say to people that I do marriage prep with, that just as long as you guys have decided to forge this new family, whatever your values, principles are, and that you are not moving as individuals being pulled by either family, and especially Senhlangene, you're not fighting for your family, she's not fighting for her family. Not that we're abandoning or disrespecting them, but knowing that there's a new family unit that's being formed is going to require just a lot of commitment from the couple, to say, as this new family, this is what we believe, these are our values. Okay, you guys want to do this, how can we compromise? How can we meet at a place where we are satisfied? Again, we have knowledge of what it is that we're doing. We don't want to do stuff that later on is going to just come back to bite us just because we were trying to appease you, and vice versa. Because I think what new couples tend to do, especially when they, just before they get married, no, uncle Amit, mama Mahmoud, blah, blah, blah. And then we fight each other because we're trying to please
our separate families.
And technically what's happening is you're leaving them. So I'm like, why am I fighting for people I'm leaving? Right? Again, I'm not disrespecting, I'm not hating, but I'm leaving. And you said it's time for me to leave. Saying
Sure.
So why am I trying to say, hey, I'm still fighting for a camp? No, I'm starting a new camp, and they need to respect that because they're going to benefit from that. The legacy of both families is growing. So at some point, they need to compromise as much as we're compromising, So I'm like, man, just as long as you guys are finding each other there, that's dope, bro. That's dope. At least you're gonna navigate, together as a couple, and you know what your goals are, Because it's on a vision, man. What vision?
Munna ka para di specs. So una li vision.
No masofu na vision.
Na vision straight. But yeah, certainly, bro. Like I always said, but we were there.
Yeah.
Where we are right now.
Yeah.
It's solid, bro. It's solid. And what we trying to achieve, our objectives.
Yeah.
It's hard, but
Sure,
we are moving forward with it. We are trying.
Yeah. No, that's dope, man. And again, it's like, how many episodes are in this thing?
There's, I think 13 now. Yeah, 13 in total.
So I'm bringing that up to just emphasize your point. So I've known you for 13 episodes, but that was a year ago, right? And so the person that I'm talking to now, I'm like, hey, right? Totally different. Totally different, man. Yeah. So I can attest to that and agree with that, man. Maybe we can end off with a couple of light things. I don't know if they're light, but just because social media is full of trolls.
Yeah.
But you guys had a lot of group dates, dynamics in the group dates. The reason why I bring that up is just your thoughts. I don't know if you are allowed to talk about being audience members watching. What did you guys think of the other couples? Right?
You mean that specific?
No. So I just brought that up because it just reminded me of the question I wanted to ask. Yeah. But just overall, so sitting this side of the screen, I have opinions about each couple.
Yeah.
You guys were sitting this side of the screen after the thing was shot. You probably had thoughts about couples while you're in the show.
Yeah.
But watching it, what did you think?
Bro, let me tell you that experiment, bro, is not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy, dog. It's not easy. And what I can say is that shout out to everyone that did, even the cast members.
Yeah.
It's not easy. They decided to navigate the way that they did.
Sure.
Kudos to them.
Yeah.
The one couple, they separated. Tammy and
Zitobile.
And
I felt for that too.
Yo, bro. When you look at the show, you look at the show,
I was crying with her when she was crying.
Yeah, dog. When you look at the show, I'll reserve my comments on certain things.
I know,
but I think there was effort from both sides.
Yes.
I think what I can be honest about is that Tammy is being misunderstood in certain elements.
Okay.
And Naya Uzi Tobile from her side, I believe she needs to do some work on herself.
Yep.
She must, even if it takes 3 years, relax and find herself. Certain traits won't have to bleed into the relationship.
Sure.
Fair. I have my comments on that. With Kuto and D, cute people.
Sure. I see that guy has a level of calm.
Yo, I wish I had, if they had to ask me, like, I wish I had that man's patience. I wish.
There was the scene where they by the boat. and Uti and Ozitawile are talking.
Yeah.
While he's talking.
Yeah.
And then he says, "Are you gonna let me talk?"
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was like, "Are you guys gonna talk amongst yourself?"
Yeah. And then they keep quiet.
Yeah.
I was like,
Tate mukwe.
If it was me, ngisho nami ngifana nawe nyamaiza.
Yeah.
Abengizovele ngihlike ejo nyabaya.
And dog.
Calm.
He's so calm. And at the same time, he's very stern in what he says. Like makakhulumi amamela.
Yeah.
And that and the way his personality is can easily be seen as a weakness. Because if you remember how things played out when D said she's a bully. If someone is not gonna challenge her in a way, she's gonna literally take over the relationship and she's out. She's gonna check out. But that's what we are all afraid of.
Sure.
We are afraid of that. And I remember the days before Shata, how nervous he was. He was very nervous, that champ. And I was like, dog, and I'm worried for your marriage. And when you look at how things played out, and I'm like, Atakra is stern about how we do things. We're just different. We're just different as people. And how he handled it, I think it was clean. It was dope of him.
That's dope, man.
Yeah. And then the other couple, who's it? who was it?
Ooh.
Which happened Sebenzile.
Yeah.
I have a lot of comments on that I wish I could reserve. But I enjoy the gent.
Yeah,
He's a cool gent. I just see.
Solid, yeah.
Just I'd rather not say anything. Like that part of me is not it's not them anymore. So I'd rather not say anything. No, but fair. Cool gent. Yeah. I enjoy him, and I just don't like people that think they're perfect.
Sure.
I mean, everyone has their own flaws and everything, but which is fine for them. They know how to deal with their own issues.
Sure.
But how we are being portrayed as if they are perfect, they don't have issues around them. That's the problem that I had.
Sure.
Which is why I'll say I'd rather keep my comments.
Yeah, fair.
And
hundreds, bro.
Yeah.
And part of it for me is, again, so I studied film, work in television.
Yeah.
So part of watching the stuff, I'm like, I know that, they'll put you in boxes.
Yeah.
That's what makes a show, So you
can't have the same.
You can't. You need to have conflict. But you kind of see a trend in reality shows. Whoever doesn't necessarily have a storyline that's gonna bring ratings and cause conflict, you'll see very less of them in the edit, right? And so we saw less of them.
Less of them
in the edit.
You don't really know much about them.
Yeah, we saw less of them, which is fair again.
Yeah.
It's people's real lives.
Nothing
as much
wrong.
as we watching. Yeah. So, but anyway, that was cool, man. But for my side, man, I enjoyed you guys, and just again, truly my empathy that you did this in front of us. Shout outs to you guys. Shout outs to you guys, bro.
Yeah.
Most of us get married without cameras, and we fumble a lot with no one scrutinizing us. But you guys got scrutinized left, right, and center, man. And I'm like, the fact that you're sitting this side, one, you're still together. Shout outs, props, man.
Thanks, bro.
You have stories to tell. Like one day when you have kids,
Baba kobeka yenza. Yazi mama kumthole kanjani.
I'm a good DSTV catcher.
It's
all there. It's all there. I mean, the fact that you did that, man, kudos. Dope that you pushed through and you learned some stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like marriage, a lot of things in life are gonna change us, but marriage changes us in ways that nothing else can. Because at work there's an exchange.
Yeah.
I can compromise, sacrifice myself for my paycheck. Here, in some sense, you're not guaranteed, right? And so if you're going in saying, I'm going to try and get something out, you might not, right? And in fact, I've just seen in my experience, going into a marriage like that, you're probably going to not enjoy it. You're going to lose a lot, man. But going in saying, Jacks, man, I want to sacrifice myself, give of myself, that's when I think you get a lot of unexpected return. Right, because you didn't go in for any value that you wanted to suck
return
out.
On investment.
Yeah, So I think those are the best, man, and and we persevere. Again, it's not perfect. We fight, and in fact, I think marriages where people don't fight are not marriages at all, man. Like this thing has to be tested.
Yeah.
Right? So, but we are that much better as people, as humans, and particularly as men. Man, like even having this conversation as gents, stuff is rare. Stuff doesn't
very
happen.
Rare, and that's why I wanted to say also to you, to thank you, bro, for having such a platform, and I've truly learned from you.
Sure.
Just from episode 1 to currently where you're at, and I've seen the growth also.
Thanks, man.
And bro, like I've learned certain things through your podcast, through the guests that have been here, through you, the words that you share. I've learned a lot, and we need people like you, because people, especially around my age, I'm only 28. There's a lot of people that are still scared to commit, and having such platforms such as yours, Black, bro.
Thanks, man.
Doing amazing, dog. Shout out,
thanks,
dog.
Bro.
And
appreciate it.
Bro.
No,
thanks, big things that are coming out of this.
Thanks,
big
brother.
Things.
No, I appreciate it, man. Any last words? I normally thank our guests for giving us time, especially their wives, but yours is here. I can thank her. Mama. Mama, siyabonga. Forever when. Hallelujah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your lives with us, one on screen, but also just coming to sit down, man. And wanting to share that and inspire us, man. 'Cause I'm truly inspired, bro.
Yeah.
Sitting here, truly inspired, man, just from your growth.
Yeah.
You know, and just seeing how you've navigated that part of your life and the kind of man that you are now, man. Like, yeah, truly, truly inspired. So thank you, bro.
Thank you so much, bro. I think what I can say is, yeah, people should be encouraged to come on this platform or even watch it from the comfort of their homes.
Sure.
And share the experience, or also try and learn from other people's experiences. Sonke sizelana for a reason. I believe in life.
Yeah.
You are here for a purpose, and one of the things that can change you is definitely marriage. To find yourself also. So I encourage people to see it out and watch the podcast.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks. I was going somewhere with that thing. I wanted you to give a shout out to your wife.
I shout my wife out every Wednesday.
Hallelujah!
Woman crush.
Yeah. You can't. This man has a vision. This man is a vision now.
But yeah, no, shout out to my wife, man.
Sure.
She holds it down.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
Still,
I won't lie. And so I have an event also that I do every December called Bangers Braai. No, definitely. It's on the 14th of December. I should actually send you some merch. You should have brought him merch, actually. This is one of the shirts that I have. Yeah. So if you do have time, I'll send you the invitations and stuff.
Cool, man.
People should peep my page, Bangers Braai, and to see. It's also different because people have opinions. Ushata kanjani marushama event amapati. Kanjani to exactly, and that's what people don't get. Also, at the end of the day, it's an income. Still, you need to put bread on the table, bro. So
she's expensive.
And she's expensive. I kupua sagi 4 years, man. From 1 year, 4 years now. But yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. Shout out, dog.
Cool,
Shout out.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I think, man, go check out. These guys have a page together. Is it Kumo and Thabang or Thabang and Kumo?
It's Kumo and Thabang uncensored.
Underscore
on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah. Go check out their page. And the only people they follow is themselves on that page. So
and Bangers Braai.
So they have 3 people that they follow. That's them. So if you find their page, you'll find them as well, right? So go check them out, man. And I truly hope that you're encouraged by this episode. One thing I've really benefited from this conversation is just the growth that us as men experience through marriage. And I think that's such a beautiful story to tell, considering the country that we live in and where the state of manhood is. So there's a lot of other things that you might have gotten from this. This is what I'm getting so far. And so I hope that you would leave your comment, that we would engage. We would hear more about what you say. Again, reality show like this, there's a lot of trolls. But man, there's a whole lot of wholesome things, a lot of positive and good things that came out from this conversation. And I hope that you'll take that perspective as you think about people's lives and the importance of marriage and just the beautiful picture we've seen from this conversation. Right? A lot could be said. So please leave your comment. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the notification bell. We drop every Wednesday at 11:30 right here on That Husband Podcast with myself. See you on the next episode. Right? Peace. Don't switch too quickly. We're still on That Husband Podcast, but I just came up here to share some exciting news that we have from the dream space. We have a new show coming called The Dopest Variety Show. And like anything dope, it's going to speak for itself. The Dopest Variety Show.
Dopest Variety Show.
Dopest Variety Show. Dopest Variety Show.
A variety show's dead. Who killed them? Not so fast.
because we bringing them back bigger, bolder, and better than ever.
Sure, so the evolution of the why behind my poetry has been so interesting. I've been writing for the past, I think, like 12 years. And initially it just came as this catharsis of the soul.
Growing up is that nobody knows what they're doing. Perfection is actually unattainable.
Some of my aunties were talking about the reason why Black Americans, because that was before they were African Americans, but Black Americans have long hair is because the air is different. So the hair is just long.
Like Focalistic, for example. His full artist name is Focalistic Cataclysm. Obviously, that's not the name on his ID. Can you imagine a mom giving birth and the doctor coming up like, what are you gonna name this child? Focalistic Cataclysm.
Welcome to the show that revives the magic of the 90s with a modern twist, where retro vibes meet fresh perspectives and classic entertainment collides with today's conversations. Buckle up for the ultimate experience because the next big thing is here. Welcome to the dopest variety show.